We all feared the worst, but you knew everything would be okay when President Trump raised his fist high in the air and shouted, "Fight, fight." Now, I believe, as sure as I'm standing here today, that what happened was a true miracle. And on that day, America felt the truth of Scripture. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. I truly believe that God saved President Trump's life that day. And I believe that God is with us right now and watches over this incredible nation every single day.
Today, in a historic show of defiance and bravery, Donald Trump is making his return as we speak to Butler, Pennsylvania, and the original site of that first assassination attempt. And we obviously got a lot to talk about in this video and throughout the night. So folks, if you enjoy this content, be sure to do us a big favor and hit that subscribe button down below. Your subscription, trust me, goes a long way in ensuring we can keep bringing you videos like this. So it's greatly appreciated. Be sure to go subscribe. And look, I think the central message here is that we will not be intimidated, okay? And that's not just President Trump saying that. I think you can sense that energy from the people on the ground in Butler, Pennsylvania, and across the state. Take a look at the crowd tonight, and if you thought that, hey, maybe people will be scared, absolutely not. Energy, enthusiasm now is at an all-time high, and that central theme of, again, not only will President Trump not be intimidated, but the Trump base will not be intimidated, was echoed by many of the rally attendees that were interviewed so far today. Take a listen.
I think we're on hallowed ground today. I think there's many reasons to be here today. Number one, to support the former President Trump and soon to be President Trump again, and to honor the gentleman who lost his life. That was awful. I did not come that day. We were and it was supposed to, and it was 90 degrees and we didn't come, but I watched it on TV and literally just screamed in my living room, they killed him. I'm like, oh no. I'm like, I was so glad when he put that hand in the air, and we were just so happy. And so we're here to support everybody. We love Pennsylvania. We love the country. We're totally red and Americans, and God bless them.
You were also there on July 13th. Why are you here today?
Because I have to finish what we started. I was 12 rows from stage, and the two gentlemen that were shot were 20 feet away from me. It could have been me, and I'm grateful, and I absolutely believe that God was with him and protected him that moment.
We feel really privileged to be back and have this opportunity again. It was a sad affair. We know God had his hand on the last rally, and we are just pumped to be back and support President Trump. Woo!
Same thing. I witnessed a miracle that day. God kept him alive to save our country and to make the world a better place. And that's what I dwell on.
Absolutely. You got some cookies. Share them real quick. What are they?
These are Oakmont Bakery cookies. They have Trump faces on them, and Trump is killing in the poll.
It's a bakery in Pittsburgh that has, Republican or Democrat cookies, and that's their informal poll. And right now, Donald Trump is running away with it.
It's truly inspiring to see kind of the grit and resolve of the patriots of this country to unite after a tragedy, be able to come together and defiantly say again, we will not be intimidated, the central message of all of this. Now, of course, although President Trump legendarily survived and pumped his fist in the air in defiance, the story of Butler, PA in July 13th would not be complete without mentioning Corey Comperatore, who is the volunteer firefighter that tragically lost his life, not just because of the stray bullets, but he was actively shielding his family from the gunfire. He died a hero, and take a look now. So President Trump, immediately as he got off the plane, greeted Corey's family, and they even left him, as you can see here, an empty seat. I presume this is where he might have been sitting at the rally itself, the original time. I'm not sure. And look, as I said back then, and I still believe to be true, we will win this election for him, right? We will win this election for Corey's memory, for the memory of the soldiers we lost during the withdrawal of Afghanistan, a lot of other different people, right? Because Corey's sacrifice was, in my opinion, the ultimate embodiment of everything that MAGA stands for and what the real Trump supporters are actually like. You know, there's so much demonization that goes on. They say they're racist, they're bigots, they support a fascist, all this stuff. But at the end of the day, okay, Trump supporters are the type of people who would shield their family, especially the type of men who would shield their wife and kids from gunfire going on and die heroically to save their family, right? You see the situation in North Carolina right now. I hate to break it to some of our liberal friends out there, but who are the ones rebuilding the roads, rescuing people from their homes, etc.? In most cases, it's those blue-collar rednecks that you demonize and you're like, oh, they're going to vote for Donald Trump. But in times of need, in times of crisis, who steps up to be the heroes, right? It's not the Silicon Valley tech billionaires. It's people like the type of demographic who supports Donald Trump. And so that's why I say in so many ways, Corey Comperatore represents and embodies the best of MAGA. And I think his memory should be a great inspiration for everyone who supports this movement. It's like, look, Corey took a bullet to shield his family while he was out there supporting Trump. And you can't even be asked to do something as simple as vote. And obviously, I'm not here to make light of what happened on that fateful day. It was a tragedy. I wish the entire situation never did happen. But at the same time, you have to admit that whatever the motive was of the original shooter to stop what we had going, it has backfired massively. You can see that from the crowd sizes here. You can see from the enthusiasm. You can also see, by the way, from the voter registrations in the state of Pennsylvania around July or August, right in the wake of that situation, shot up dramatically in favor of Republicans, because I think a lot of the silent Trump supporters, especially in the rural part of the state, many of whom, by the way, believe it or not, are not registered to vote, not super involved in politics, did feel a duty in that moment. I mean, look, some guy just died protecting his family. The president, Trump, just took a bullet, okay, for us, for our movement. And I cannot be asked to simply just go out there and I already support him, but register to vote. But now I think that's what a lot of people in the state of Pennsylvania are feeling. It's almost like we have an obligation to support our guy and go out and do everything we can to vote for him and campaign for him, because look what he did for us. Look what he has sacrificed for the people of this country. And that's a big reason why, believe it or not, when it comes to the election, I'm actually growing pretty confident about our chances in PA, not just because of polls or whatever else, but specifically because of the fact this is the state where it all happened, right? This is the state where Trump got shot in. He raised his fist like a hero. And believe it or not, people, especially in the western part of that state where Butler is, they're going to remember that, right? And like I said, when you look back to the voter registration, thousands of people decided right after that moment. They are Trump supporters, but they were lazy about it before, right? They decided they had to show up and register to vote. And it was driven largely by that same exact sentiment that I am bringing up here, which is, first of all, God spared Trump for a reason. There must be a moral to the story here, number one. Number two, he took that bullet for us in my state, right? Corey Comperatore was a hero to our community. We have to remember what he ultimately stood for. And look, I think in many ways, now that early voting has already began, we seem to forget the fact that election day nowadays is not really election day. It's already sort of begun. In many ways, you could argue this is President Trump's final case to America, which is to bring up, obviously, a lot of conservatives complain, well, this whole event got memory hold. Nobody even talks about it anymore. Well, what better way to sort of make your closing argument, your final stamp on the election, by visiting the site where it all happened and once again bringing back the media and national focus, as well as the local focus in Pennsylvania, obviously, back to this very state. So with that said, let me know your thoughts on all of this in the comment section down below. Like I brought up in the beginning of the video, we will be doing a lot more coverage of this rally throughout the night, so be sure to stay tuned for that. Leave a like and subscribe, and until next time, God bless and peace.